I am speaking directly to your heart right now. I want you to know that as you listen to these words, you are not just receiving advice, but a message of love and truth that has been made especially for you, for your life right now, at this very moment. Did you know that in the midst of all the difficulties and challenges, there is a peace that you can find within yourself? This peace comes from a deep love, a bond that never breaks. Whether you are looking for answers, healing, or simply relief from the burdens you carry, I am here to offer you what you need. I know how confusing and sometimes lonely the world can be, but I want you to know that you are never alone. Even when all seems dark, I am the light that illuminates your path. Today I come to you with an invitation. Let my word touch you and allow it to transform your heart. Stay with me until the end, and together we'll discover what I have to tell you. It's funny how life, in its fast pace, often makes us stop and reflect on what really matters. What are you feeling right now? Maybe a feeling that something needs to be resolved, but you're not sure what it is. Or maybe you're asking yourself, is there any point to what I'm doing? These feelings of doubt, confusion, or even inexplicable emptiness are common, and you're not alone. I know what it's like to go through these moments. I know what it's like to look around and feel like something is out of place, but not know where to begin to find the peace you so desperately seek. But I am here to tell you, what you need to hear right now is not a faraway answer, but a simple, profound truth filled with love. Sometimes the answer to what we are looking for is right in front of us, just waiting for us to stop and listen. Have you ever noticed that in the most difficult times, true strength comes from something we can't see with our eyes, but feel inside? It's as if there's a voice, soft and constant, calling us to find peace in the midst of chaos. This voice is more than words. It is a presence that surrounds us and comforts us, even when everything seems uncertain. Perhaps you have experienced moments of deep reflection, when your heart seems to cry out for something more. And it is in that silent cry that answers begin to emerge, but only if we are willing to listen. Often what we need is not a quick fix, but an understanding that something greater is guiding us, something invisible but powerful enough to transform what seems irreparable. And I ask you, have you ever stopped to think that often all we need is to surrender to that which sustains us? It's not about having all the answers now, but about trusting in the process. Trusting that the Father is always close, guiding our every step, even when we don't see the clear direction ahead. Each of us has a unique journey, with moments of light and moments of shadow, and it is often in the shadows that we find the invitation to grow and understand something greater. What you are experiencing now, however challenging, may be the key to a new understanding, a new perspective on life and yourself. When you allow yourself to listen to what your heart is really saying, you begin to realize that peace is not a distant goal, but something that is already within you, waiting to be recognized. Today, at this very moment, I want you to know that you're already closer to the answer than you think. The truth is there, within reach of your soul. All you need now is to allow yourself to feel and to trust. In doing so, you begin to realize that life is not about controlling every aspect, but about surrendering to the confidence that everything has a purpose, even in adversity. This message isn't for tomorrow or the next day. It's for now. What you seek is within you. Peace, trust, forgiveness, healing, it is already there. Sometimes we just have to stop and listen to see beyond what our eyes can see. I invite you to listen now to what has been silent in your heart. And if at any time you feel lost or unsure of how to take the next step, remember that peace is not something that lies outside of you. It is already within you, waiting to be recognized. The path to clarity lies not in controlling your circumstances, but in trusting what lies beyond them. When you open your heart to this truth, answers begin to emerge from where you least expect them. Now you may be thinking, but what if it all seems too complicated? How can I trust when the path seems so uncertain? These moments of doubt are part of the journey, but they are not the end. When you listen to the voice of truth speaking from within, something extraordinary begins to happen. Doubts begin to dissolve, and the heart opens to something deeper. Now close your eyes for a moment and ask yourself, what do you need to hear today? The answer may not come in an explosion of words, but in a quiet stillness that brings clarity to your spirit. What you feel now is the answer being planted within you. It grows over time and, like a tree, strengthens as you begin to believe and trust the truth that is already in your heart. It is in this quiet space that you begin to realize that true peace and wisdom come from within. You already have all that you need. The path is before you, and no matter how challenging it may seem, there is a greater force guiding you. Know that with every step you take, with every difficulty you face, there is an opportunity for deeper growth that you can only perceive if you allow yourself to truly listen. Now, if you already feel that there is something deeper in your heart that is asking to be understood, perhaps it's time to realize that this journey of discovery is an invitation to something beyond the surface. As we move forward together, it's important to understand that even in the most difficult of circumstances, the answer to your peace is within your soul's reach. As you allow yourself to walk with confidence, you will realize that love and peace, which often seem so far away, are closer than you think. As this becomes clear, the path ahead lights up, not with ready-made answers, but with a deep understanding that everything happens for a reason and that you are not alone. Have you ever gone through times when your heart is squeezed, when you're looking for something that makes sense, an explanation for what you're going through? When the weight of life seems heavier and the answers seem so far away, it's easy to feel lost. What do you do when doubt becomes a burden you can't bear? When your heart cries out for something more, but you're not sure what it is? I understand how you feel. I know how the heart sometimes longs for something we can't touch, something that seems so far away, but at the same time seems to be exactly what we need. It is in those moments of searching and questioning that the divine presence begins to reveal itself more clearly, more closely. When everything seems uncertain, that's when we get closer to what we really need to find. The truth is, life is full of challenges, moments when all you want to do is understand why certain things happen, why peace always seems to be out of reach. I've seen so many people with their hearts tensed, searching for answers, and what I can tell you without hesitation is that these searches are not in vain. The Father is always near, even when we can't feel His presence. When you're in the middle of a storm and you're wondering why you're going through all this, it's in those moments of crying out that I'm closest. Even when you feel alone, even when despair seems to consume you, I am there ready to listen. There is no pain that goes unnoticed, no cry that goes unheard. The Father knows us, and He knows what is going on in the depths of our being. Maybe you're hoping for quick answers, easy solutions to lighten the load you're carrying. But the truth is that often, the most life-changing answers don't come immediately or clearly, but are revealed in the process, the moment we begin to trust. The answer to your longing may lie in the simple act of surrendering your heart and trusting. As you open your heart, you begin to realize that instead of finding all the answers right away, you actually find something even deeper, the trust that everything will work out because you are not alone on this journey. I know it's hard, that it often feels like the weight is too much to carry, but remember, I am not a distant God. I am here closer than you think, ready to listen. In every tear you shed, in every silent prayer, I am by your side, waiting to comfort you. What you're going through right now, the struggles you're facing, they have meaning. They are not burdens without purpose, but opportunities to find something greater than what you can see at the moment. Now the question is, are you willing to trust? I know that trust isn't always easy, especially when circumstances don't seem favorable. But trust doesn't come from circumstances, it comes from the heart surrendering. And when you surrender, you begin to realize that every step you take, even in difficult times, is a step towards something better, something you can't fully see, but that is revealed as you walk. When you allow me to enter your life and show you the way, even without knowing all the details, you begin to understand that the greatest gift you can receive is trust in something that transcends human understanding. It's not about understanding everything, but believing that there is a greater purpose to what you are experiencing. This brings a peace that the world cannot offer. I see your heart, I see your struggle, and I invite you to give it all to me. Not because I need you to, but because I know that in surrendering you will find the peace and clarity that you so desperately seek. You don't have to carry this burden alone. The Father has the answers your heart seeks. He is listening, and as you allow yourself to hear His voice, everything that seemed confusing begins to make sense. As you surrender and allow yourself to be led in trust, it's amazing how the answers begin to emerge, often in unexpected ways. It's not an immediate revelation, but a path, a journey, where every step you take is guided by a force you can't see, but you can feel. And it is on this path that you will find what your heart cries out for: peace, answers, and above all, the E, certainty that there is nothing you face that cannot be overcome with the Father's help. As you trust, you will find that although the difficulties don't disappear immediately, there is a lightness that begins to appear. Answers, relief, clarity. They often come subtly, but always at the right time. What you need is to trust and know that the Father is already taking care of you as you go. Now, as you look at what's in front of you, you will see that the journey, as uncertain as it may seem, is exactly what is needed to take you to the next step. As you open yourself to receive, the answers will begin to align with what is in your heart, and you will find yourself being guided by a force that cannot be explained, only experienced. Every step you take is a chance to move closer to what the Father has already prepared for you. No matter how far the end of the road seems, every small step taken with faith and trust is a victory. Remember, the answer doesn't come from outside, but from within when you choose to trust the Father. Even when everything seems uncertain, in a world that never stops, where the noise and demands seem endless, it's easy to get lost in the search for something that will bring us true peace. Have you ever stopped to think about it? True peace, the kind that doesn't depend on external circumstances, but comes from within. In times of great excitement, when the mind is full of worry, it's almost impossible to find a place of rest. But I'm here to tell you that it is possible. True peace is not in controlling situations, but in surrendering to them. I know what it's like to feel restless, to have a conflicted heart, to long for answers, for solutions that don't seem to come. But more than that, I know that the peace we so desperately seek is within our grasp, but it's not there in the way we imagine. We often look for peace in external things, in accomplishments, in recognition, in material security. But true peace, the kind that fills your heart, is much closer than you think. It's within you, waiting to be recognized and welcomed. I see what you hold in your heart. I know your inner struggles, the fears that haunt you, and the worries that always seem to be with you. But when you allow yourself to rest in the presence of the Father, something wonderful happens. You realize that even in the midst of the storm, there is a quiet place where your soul can be still. I want to show you that place, a place that is not physical but spiritual, where you can take refuge in the midst of chaos and find the serenity you so desperately need. You may ask yourself, but how can I find this peace when my life is so full of hustle and bustle and worry? The answer lies in the simple act of trust and surrender. Peace comes not when we try to control everything around us, but when we accept that there are things beyond our reach. It is born when we understand that true strength comes from trusting in the Father, knowing that He cares for us, even when we don't see immediate solutions. I know it's hard to let go of control. I know that the urge to solve things on your own is strong. But when you allow yourself to trust and surrender, peace begins to take over every part of your being. You don't have to fight against the flow of life, because by trusting you get in tune with a bigger plan, a plan that not only calms your mind, but heals your heart. You don't have to wait for a perfect moment to find peace. It's not something that comes only in quiet moments or when everything around you seems in order. True peace can be found at any time, in the midst of the chaos of work or in the small difficulties of everyday life. What matters is how you respond to those moments. Do you choose to be shaken by circumstances, or do you choose to trust even without understanding why things happen the way they do? Peace is not the absence of problems, but the confidence that even in the face of difficulties, you are not alone. The Father takes care of every detail, and when you rest in that, you find a peace that transcends human understanding. You begin to realize that peace does not depend on the absence of challenges, but on the certainty that everything, even difficulties, have a purpose. Have you ever tried to stop for a moment and just breathe? Let go of your fears. Let your worries drift away for a while. and just trust that you don't have to carry it all alone. The peace I offer is just that, the peace of knowing that you can rest no matter what. When you fully trust the Father, you begin to feel the lightness that comes with surrender, and the soul calms down. As you allow yourself to rest in this unconditional love, something incredible happens. Your mind begins to calm, and your heart, which was tense before, begins to open to peace. The world around you may still be in turmoil, but you no longer feel part of the storm. You are the calm person who remains calm even in the midst of the whirlwind, because your trust is no longer in the circumstances, but in the Father who cares for you. I know it's easy to feel lost, especially when everything seems to be spinning out of control. But remember that the peace you seek is not in something you have to achieve, but in something you already have within you. You don't have to look any further. You just have to stop and allow that peace to manifest. It is waiting to be found. It is already planted in your heart, and as you open your eyes and heart to this truth, you begin to see that peace has always been there. As you begin to trust, peace comes, and it comes in ways that are often subtle, but that make all the difference in your life. You begin to see that when you rest in God, every moment, even the most difficult, becomes an opportunity to grow and trust even more. That's the power of true peace. It's not something you earn, but something you receive by opening yourself to what God has for you. I know it can be hard to believe, especially when life seems so unpredictable, but true peace is not a distant promise. It is here, available to you right now. By trusting the Father, you can experience that peace every day. You just have to take the first step, which is to stop, breathe, and allow yourself to feel the presence of divine love in your life. This peace that I offer is not like the peace of the world that depends on external circumstances, but it is the peace that comes from a relationship of deep trust with God. It is a peace that can be lived every day, in every situation. And when you live it, you begin to realize that even in the greatest difficulties, there is a serenity that can never be taken away. Have you ever carried a deep grudge, something that seemed impossible to forgive? A hurt that no matter how hard you tried, you could never let go of. I know how heavy the pain of forgiveness can be, like a shadow that follows us even when we want to move on. But I'm here to tell you something fundamental. The true freedom you so desperately seek. The peace you long for is directly related to the act of forgiving. When you forgive, you free not only the other person, but more importantly, you free yourself. I've seen how crushing the weight of forgiveness can be, the emotional scars that remain, the moments when we feel we can't forgive because the pain is just too great. But paradoxically, it is this very act of releasing the other and ourselves that opens the door to true freedom. Did you know that you suffer most when you hold on to resentment? Resentment never changes the past, but it has the power to block the future, to prevent you from living the fullness of what God wants for your life. Forgiveness, on the other hand, is the key that opens that door. I know that forgiveness can seem like too great a sacrifice, especially if the pain is recent or the offense very deep. But forgiveness is not about what the other person has done. It is about what you choose to let go of. When you choose to forgive, you are not saying that the wrong done was right, but you are saying that you will no longer allow that wrong to rule your life. Forgiveness is liberating because it takes you out of the emotional prison that resentment puts you in. You may ask yourself, how can I forgive someone who has hurt me so badly? I understand that feeling, but as difficult as it may be, forgiveness isn't about justifying the pain. It's about releasing the weight you carry inside. You don't forgive to please the other person. You forgive because in releasing the other person, you free yourself. You free yourself from the chains of the past that hold you back and make room for something much more powerful: inner peace. Forgiving is an act of courage, of vulnerability, of trust. When you forgive, you trust that God will take care of what you cannot control. You surrender the weight of the offense to Him and allow healing to take place in your heart. Forgiveness is not something that happens overnight. It's like a seed that you plant, and over time it grows and becomes part of who you are. Forgiveness is the way to allow God's grace to enter your life and free you from the weight of the past. I know that sometimes you may think that forgiveness is impossible, especially when the pain is very deep. But know that even in the most difficult situations, forgiveness is not an act you do alone. It is supported by divine grace, which helps us to forgive even when our flesh and emotions resist. You are not alone in this process. I am here, and the Father is at your side, giving you the strength to continue on this path. Most of the time, forgiveness is not an immediate process. It is something that grows within you, day by day. And as you make that effort, healing takes place in a way that you can't explain, but you can feel. As you begin to forgive, little by little you feel the weight of the hurts dissipate, the anger turn to compassion, and the pain turn to peace. When you choose to forgive, you begin to understand something very profound. Forgiveness is for you, not for the other person. It is you who free yourself from the invisible chains that hold you in the past. The person you forgive may not even know what you have done for them, but by forgiving you, free yourself from a burden that only hurts you. To forgive is to give yourself the gift of peace. The good news is that forgiveness is a new beginning. It doesn't erase what happened, but it does transform the power that situation had over your life. The truth is that forgiveness opens the way for you to experience inner freedom. It clears the space inside you so that God's love and light can fill what was once filled with pain and resentment. Forgiveness, then, is not just a choice of the heart, but a key to new life. If you are carrying a burden of resentment or hurt, I invite you to consider this now. What are you waiting to release? The freedom you so desperately seek lies in the act of forgiveness. Not because the other person deserves it, but because you deserve the peace that comes from choosing to release the past and embrace the present with a light heart. Are you ready to take that step? When you forgive, you experience an inner transformation. You begin to realize that freedom is in your hands, and forgiveness is the path that leads to it. It doesn't matter what happened in the past. What matters is what you choose to carry in your heart now. Forgiveness is not easy, but it is the key that opens the door to peace. When you make this choice, something wonderful will happen. Your soul will be freed. The weight of the past will begin to dissipate, and you will find in the midst of your pain the healing that the Father has prepared for you. Have you ever wondered what it really means to live a fulfilled life? Perhaps you have felt at times that you are just going through the days without really experiencing what life has to offer. But I want to show you something powerful. True fulfillment comes from living with love. Love is not just a feeling, a passing emotion, but a transforming force that, when truly experienced, can change your whole life. I know that life often seems to ask a lot of us. The responsibilities, the challenges, the complicated relationships, and in the midst of it all, it's easy to lose focus. It's easy to forget that the true richness of life lies not in what we can accomplish, but in how we love and relate to the world around us. Love is the key that unlocks true fulfillment, because it is the foundation of everything. Without love, everything we do seems empty, meaningless. But when we live love, we find meaning in every gesture, in every word, in every little moment. The love I'm talking about is not the love that is given only in moments of happiness, but the love that is constant, the love we choose to live with even in difficult times. Have you ever thought about what your life would be like if you chose to love every day? Not because you have to, but because love is the choice that brings peace to the heart. When you choose to live with love, you become a source of light for others, and that light not only illuminates the lives of those around you, but also illuminates your own path. You may think that love is something reserved for big gestures, special moments. But in reality, true love is the kind that manifests itself in the little things of everyday life. It's the smile you offer to someone who needs a little light. It's patience with someone who is going through a difficult time. It's understanding when someone makes a mistake. Love is something you can live every day, in every interaction, in every decision. And when you live it, you begin to realize that abundance is not in achieving something, but in being something. To be someone who radiates love, who chooses to forgive, who chooses to be patient and kind, not because it's easy, but because love is the power that holds the world together. I see how much you can be touched by that love. I know that sometimes life challenges you to be stronger, to be more resilient, But true strength comes from a heart that chooses to love even when the world isn't easy. It's not about being perfect, it's about being authentic. Love doesn't require perfection, it requires surrender. It requires you to surrender to something greater than yourself, to something that transcends your human limitations. Love is what transforms you from within, frees you from the shackles of ego, and aligns you with divine purpose. The abundance we so desperately seek is not in external things, but in who we are and how we choose to live. When you choose to live with love, you choose to live according to the truth of who you are, the image and likeness of the Creator. Love is what connects you to the essence of God, and as you live this love, you begin to see everything around. You change. You begin to see that even in moments of pain, love is the light that illuminates the darkness. Living love every day is not an easy task. I'm not here to deceive you and tell you that everything will be easy. But what I will tell you with certainty is that as you live, love in your actions, even when the ego tries to push you away from that choice, you will begin to notice a profound transformation. The ego wants to be fed with revenge, anger, and fear, but love wants to be lived with compassion, patience, and generosity. And when you choose to live love, you choose to heal the wounds of the past and let go of the ego. So I invite you to look at your daily choices. How do you choose to respond to those around you? How do you choose to treat those who have hurt or challenged you? Love is not just something you feel, it is something you do. And in doing so, you begin to realize that true abundance doesn't come from seeking more things, more accomplishments, more validation. It comes from choosing each day to live with a heart full of love. Every time you choose to forgive, every time you choose to be kind, every time you choose to love, you not only transform the world around you, you transform your own life. You begin to realize that abundance is not something you achieve, but something you experience every day. When you surrender to love, you become a source of light, and your life is filled with meaning and purpose. A full life, true happiness, is not about accumulating possessions or external accomplishments. It lies in how you live each moment, in how you choose to respond to the world around you. Love is the way to that fullness. It is the key to an abundant life where every day has purpose, every gesture has meaning. And by living love, you move closer to the kingdom of heaven, which is not a distant place, but a reality that you begin to live here, in your heart. I know that life can be challenging, that it's often difficult to see the light, but love is the light that never goes out. It is what lights your way even when the landscape seems dark. When you live love, you will see that even in the most difficult times, there is always a way to be light in the world. And in being light, you will find true fulfillment in ways you may never have imagined. The love you spread will come back to you multiplied, bringing you the peace your heart so desperately seeks. You have come this far, and that's a big step. What you have learned today is not just a message, but a living truth that can change your life from the inside out. Peace, forgiveness, love, they are not just words, they are divine forces that you can live now, in every moment. You are not alone in this journey. The Father is with you, guiding your steps, illuminating your path. Remember, the fullness you seek is not in external accomplishments, but in the way you choose to live in love and trust in the Father, in every gesture, in every choice. By trusting, forgiving, and living in love, you find the kingdom of God within you, and nothing can take that peace away. True freedom begins in the heart that surrenders to the divine. Now rise up and live this truth. May the light of divine love surround you and guide you. And may you never forget that true strength lies in trusting and living with an open heart. May your path be illuminated, and may you discover the peace that dwells within you.